Good afternoon, everyone. I'm very thrilled to be presenting today about tips and tricks for managing digital messaging services. I will start first with what is digital community. So, a digital community is a group of people that share a common need or interest who interact with each other on an online platform. Digital community is different from a service, like from digital messaging. Some people may get confused between digital community and digital messaging. So, the digital messaging is the service itself, which could be for one-on-one interaction between service provider and client using digital messaging, or using digital messaging to broadcast info to a large number of people, but not fostering a connection or conversation between them. Or it could be using for building digital communities. So why is digital community important? As many of you know that many newcomers like using apps and using digital messaging to connect with each other and get information. And also they are looking for digital communities to join, and being part of an online community gives them the opportunity to network and provide them with the information and the feelings of belonging. It is easy to communicate and ask questions in a digital community format. It allows newcomers to learn from each other's experiences, as you may can see when someone posts a question on a digital community, many people would answer, and some people would say, yeah, go with this, I did this and it worked, and somebody would say, no, I tried this solution and it didn't work with me. So they can get a lot of experiences from people who are in the same situation. It helps to overcoming language barriers. So when newcomers attend or being part of a digital community in their language, it helps them to overcome with a language barrier regarding finding the information. So as you can see, digital communities are very important to help newcomers to settle in. And because of that, building a successful strategy for a digital community for newcomers is also very, very important. So to be able to build this strategy, you will need to first know your audience. So knowing where your audience is coming from, what is their status, are they working? This would help you to address their needs, and that would lead for posting that will interest them as a result. Choose a platform. So always choose the platform that your audience are using. Don't introduce a new platform for them, because people might not be interested in learning new platforms. So it's better if you go with the platform that they are already using. It's also very important when you are building your strategy to find the right community manager that has all the skills needed to this position. Managing a digital community is not something that you can add, or like some add jobs to someone who's already doing another job. It's very important you find the right community manager with the right skill set that works with this job. Create protocols. So creating protocols for each and every move on that community is very, very important as a first step. It's better if you are having a protocol for adding new members. So if the member is here, if the member is outside, adding or like asking when to ask a member to leave, for example. What is the protocol in answering the questions? What is the time frame for answering the question or for getting the answers for the questions? So having all these protocols written will help you also to train your digital community manager to better do their job. Going back to digital community manager, what does a community manager do? So basically, a community manager acts as a liaison between the organization and the community members. They do monitoring. Um, they listen to the needs of the members. They tracking the conversation that's related to the service that you are providing. Engaging. So keeping the conversation alive is very important while managing the community, the digital community. So one of the main roles of the community manager is to try to find new ways to engage the members with the conversation. Moderating. Also, it is one of their main role to weed out the comments and the conversation that doesn't add value, and troubleshooting members' complaints. Sometimes somebody would ask a question, and sometimes the questions are like very easy. Other members might find it like a silly question or like easy question. They might add some insulting comments. So the moderator here should interfere and ask the member to remove this insulting comments. So it is very important to be live, to be there in the group, to moderate the discussion all the time. Measuring. So analyzing how your service is perceived and getting real unfiltered feedback. So not only looking for the positive feedbacks, but also look for all feedbacks that getting from the members, because this would help to improve your service. So what skills do they need? First of all, they should be knowledgeable. So community managers come from a variety of backgrounds. Being successful in this role relies more on a set of skills than a degree. There are certain skills for a successful community manager should have. The beginning is being knowledgeable. They should know about the organization's tone. They should have a knowledge about the service that you are providing. If you are building a digital community that provides language information, for example, have someone who has a teaching background or like ESL background. If you are having a digital community that's providing settlement information, have a community manager who has a settlement background. Second is strong listening and communication skills. Listening to the members' needs and complaints. It shows them that you value their opinions, hear what they have to say, and care about their experiences within your community. And of course, communicating the information in an easy and plain language that they could understand is a key role here. So having someone with high communication skills is very, very important for managing the digital communities. After that, online and in-person soft skills. So driving insights from community members isn't very straightforward activity. Understanding user personas, uncovering feelings and thoughts require little more than everyday communication. Strong interpersonal skills enhance the engagement levels in the community and show the audience that their opinion do matter to your organization. After that, we have empathy and patience. So a community manager must be able to empathize with the members and know how to respond in a manner that reflects the organization's values. So being there for the members, give them the feelings that they can trust you. Be patient with them. Listen to their needs. Sometimes a member would ask a question. The same question would be asked like a couple of times. So it's very important for the community manager to be patient, to answer professionally, and be there for the members. After that, ability to create content. So creating content that meet the members' needs is also very important. And this interfere with the listening skill. So when you listen to the needs, when you are there in the digital community, moderating the discussion, you can catch the needs of this community, and therefore you can be able to create content that meets the needs of your community. Organizational and project management. So an online community consists of multiple moving parts. So organizational and project management skills is very important to bring together all the moving parts. Therefore, thereby are essential traits for the role. So also when you are managing a digital community, it's you are moderating, you are listening, you are catching information, you are catching data. So it's like multiple roles at the same time. So the person should have a very good organizational skills to be able to continue managing the digital community professionally. Last thing is engagement skills. Also, always look for new methods to keep the members engaged. When you see the community a bit silent, for example, maybe you can ask some questions to engage them with a conversation. Maybe you can post a poll for them so they can also be a little bit engaged. Asking questions I found it like a very good way for engaging with the members, and also it helps you to address the needs regarding specific subjects. So what are some community management best practices? First of all, set the community guidelines. So setting community guidelines is also a key role here because it will shape the conversation in your digital community. So create a written document with your expectation for the way all the members will interact and expected to communicate and behave, and distribute that on your platform or on the community that you have. Also share this guidelines with the members when they are joining. So at the beginning, when they join, it's better to speak with them, introduce yourself, and share this community guide with them. And also, if there's an option of having the community guidelines pinned on the group, that would be very good. But if not, post that regularly so the members could you can remind the members of the community guidelines. Also, you can post it if someone violated the community guidelines, just like a kind reminder to the group that this behavior is not allowed regarding to our community guidelines. I may ask you to remove the post, or I may ask you to leave the group, depending on their violation. Second, post regularly. So for like when you are managing a digital community, posting a very high quality information is the key here, because people will look for this information. So it's not about the quantity, it's about the quality. Posting regularly, it depends on your strategy or protocol that you created, but it's very important not to leave the group for a couple of days without any posts. So post like a social post, an event, a workshop, or whatever you think that may be interesting to your members. It keeps the group alive. After that, listen and ask questions. So listening is not enough to understand the need. So not only you should listen to the people, what are they saying? It's also very important to ask them questions, just to clarify the whole picture. So that could be on the group, or that could be on a private message. Sometimes maybe members doesn't know how to ask the right question. So maybe they need a specific information, but they don't know how to reach this information, and they don't know how to ask about this information. Here become like your role is to ask deeper question, just to have like a clear picture of the information that they are looking for you to be able to assess them and provide them with the information that they wanted. After that, explore new ways of engagement. As I spoke before, people would like to interact, whether by asking questions to the group, or whether by maybe hosting an expert subject matter. So sometimes what happened, for example, in our group during the COVID, we've received many questions regarding the going back to school when the schools were open after the school closure. So we hosted a representative from OPH, Ottawa Public Health, and she was able to answer all the questions, and that like members really appreciated this move, and they felt more engaged with them. To be authentic, so people would like to interact with a human being, no matter what the type of interaction. Being genuine and human is crucial, whether or not you are behind a screen or face to face. So when you speak with them, like give them the feeling that you are there for them, you understand them, and you are willing to help them. This is like very, very important to be able to manage the group. Last thing is measure your success. So you can measure your success like on the digital community in many ways. There are a couple of tools that are available online. When it comes to measuring your success on social media, you shouldn't always get hung up on the quantitative data, because numbers, like having, for example, 1,000 people on this platform doesn't mean that it is very successful, but having interactive people, interactive members in that platform shows how successful it is. Always reflect of your effort accurately, or the sense of belonging you are creating for your community members. After that, I'm jumping for tips for posting on a digital community. So the first is knowing your audience. Knowing where your audience is coming from, what is their status, are they working? This will help you, as I mentioned before, that will help you to address their needs and lead you to the post that they are looking for and they interest them. So don't feel like just the members are there and you post wherever you want. Really ask questions, get to know them, talk with them privately or on the group, just to know more about their situation, so you can choose the right content that it may interest them. Second is choose your language. So depending on the post that you are sharing, you can switch between professional tone or like professional language or casual language or in between. So, and also when you are posting on behalf of an organization, it is better to choose formal, and that depending on the subject. For example, when you are answering a settlement question, and that's what happens, what always happens with us in our group. When you are answering a settlement question, we always use the formal language, and that will give us more credibility. And while when we are sharing like a community event, we try like to make it like more casual language. After that, choose your tone. Is it serious? Is it cheerful? Is it positive? Always should be positive, but like depending also depending on the subject. So when you are posting on a digital community, you are informing, guiding, marketing. So it is important to choose the right tone with each context. After that, choose the right time and frequency for posting. So posting during the working hours is it's also very important to show the members that you have working hours to follow. So not leave it like open where they can post anything anytime they want it, or like maybe specifically for you. So they know that you are available at certain times to answer their questions. And if they posted like after hours or before hours, they would expect to have the answers a bit later. So members from your digital community will be online for longer hours. As I said, they will be asking questions, and when they see posts from you out of the working hours, they will automatically expect answers after hours. So if not, they will be disappointed, which will lead to less interest in the group. So don't expect the members to follow your guidelines if you don't follow them. After that, the length of your post. So when you're posting interesting general information, like applying for citizenship, for example, write clear, full information, and always include the official website where you got this information from, and referral to where they can find the service they need, and where they can look if they're looking for service to help them to fill an application, for example, or if they want more information regarding this subject. So if you are posting about like general information, be like specific and use a bullet points. So like applying for travel document, for example, who is eligible? 1, 2, 3. How can you apply? 1, 2, 3. Like be very specific. Don't post like a very long post with a lot of words, and try to make it bullet points. That makes it easier to people to understand. And when you are posting a job post, for example, make it short with the deadline deadline for applying, and like a little bit of explaining this job. So include title, organization, and deadline for applying. When you are sharing partners events, write a couple of words to attract your audience and giving them a general idea about this event. Make sure to highlight the date and the time, like starting and ending time, and the venue. Otherwise, you will receive tons of questions about this information, even though if it was written in the flyer. So share the flyer and share like small message about the time, start, end, venue, which organization is hosting, and what is it about. In general, it is very important to send clear, simple, direct, and easy to understand messages to your community. Here now I would like to give an example about our like managing our WhatsApp group, which is turned to Telegram group now for Arabic speakers. So at our group we have a specific hours of posting, or for the moderator to be there. So at 9 o'clock we open the day with good morning. And at 5 o'clock we close the day with good afternoon. So people know that between these hours they can ask questions and expecting the moderator to be there. The community guidelines is pinned on the top of the group all the time. This feature, by the way, is at Telegram. WhatsApp doesn't have this feature. Members can ask any type of question during working hours and expect to have the answer within the 24 hours. Within 24 hours. So depending also on the type of question, might be the moderator who's answering this question, or a member from the group itself would be answering this question. So if it's a question regarding settlement, or official question, or like regarding the rules, or like new rules or new law, the moderator would answer this question. Or if there's like a question regarding where can I find this item, or what is the best way to travel from this place to this place? So these kind of questions, members can answer them. However, like whoever answering the question, the moderator always there and checking the answers and make sure that the answers are accurate and correct. Sometimes people would share their own experience, and which is not always applied to this situation. Adding one member to the group is easy through referrals or by reaching out to other groups. So we add groups that are referred by other members, or that by referred by other organizations, or that would be referred by friends. Sometimes members would see our website. People will see the website and they ask to join the group. Also, we reach out to other groups on Facebook, for example, targeting Arabic community, and post like a small post explaining our group and ask people if they would like to join. So what if somebody posted some posts that they don't match, or they don't go with the guidelines? So members will have to leave the group. First, they got warning and we reach out to them in private message and ask them kindly to remove this post because it is violating the guidelines that they agreed at the beginning, and we ask them to remove this post. If that happened a couple of times, we ask the member to leave. And of course, if the member after 1 week or 2 weeks came back to us and asked us to rejoin, and they agreed to follow the guidelines, they are welcome to join the group once again. A daily post about workshops, what's happening in the city, settlement information, or social post is very is one of our very important things in our group. So every day we post different posts. Sometimes it's a workshop that an organization is hosting. Sometimes it's where is Pink Shirt Day? What is Orange Shirt Day? These kind of posts are very, very important to the newcomers, because they don't have an idea. They have no idea about what does that means, and how to find this information regarding this information. So posting this information give them the feeling that they are aware of what's happening around, and also give them the belonging feeling. When you are moderating a digital community, act like a leader. So you are leading this community. So think like your audience. Look for the information that attracts their attention and meets their needs. Be diplomatic. Give them this interaction feeling, creative and curious. And most importantly, don't take any negative feedback personally. Whenever you have any negative feedback, try to negotiate that, discuss that with the member. Why do they think that? How can you do better? What their suggestions? Don't feel that they are attacking you personally, because you are not presenting yourself. You are presenting an organization. Thank you very much. Now I will give my colleague Mohamad to continue his presentation.
Thank you so much, Lama. And hello, everyone. I hope you all are doing well and staying safe. Thanks, Barbara, for the sweet introduction. I am speaking to you from Calgary on behalf of the Center for Newcomers. And for that, I would like to take a second to acknowledge that we live, work, and play on the traditional territories of the Blackfoot Confederacy, Siksikakiani Pikani, the Tusina, the Stoney Nakoda Nations, and the Métis Nation, Region 3, and all people who make their homes in Treaty 7, region of Southern Alberta, specifically Calgary. Lama has covered a lot of like the important stuff that like a digital community and the manager like would act in it. So we were like at the Center for Newcomers, very reliable on how amazing like the project that like Refugee 613 started, and on that end we adapted WhatsApp as a communication method with our Arabic speaking newcomers and refugees. And when we say refugees, I would like to include that like it was directed to refugee claimants as well, who needed help and a trustful resource to access services around the city of Calgary. So we transferred it into a program called Case Management via Digital Messaging. And the term itself gives like a vibe of it. It was like case-based. So we didn't have a group to begin with by the time of the pilot. What we did is one-on-one case management through WhatsApp, which required a lot of attention to the case. By that, I mean that like when you are like following up with a case, it's not we're answering a question about like, how do I access this bus route, or like where do I go for an international food store in Calgary? So it was literally following up of a newcomer case that comes and had problems like in settling and integrating, how to put his kids in school, if there's any family issues, if there's any problems that he's facing, like in order to get like enrolled himself in link classes or anything that like he needs. And for that, like the manager who was supposed to be acting on that role should be a person that is like, I wouldn't say resourceful himself, but like very connected and is willing to direct and refer people the right way. And like there was a very important point and a tricky point. We technically we're like very detail oriented. It was like something like memorizing who is the client that we're communicating with, so we do not miss and cross information for people that don't need it. So it was very specific. If I'm dealing with a person that is like going through a domestic violence situation, and if I'm sharing resources related to mental health, etc., that I'm not sharing it with another person. That's why we didn't use much of broadcasting messages and stuff, and it was like based on like a daily communication one-on-one thing. Confidentiality and guidelines. Again, Lama covered a lot about like the guidelines and how we deal with them. When we deal with newcomers and refugees, we have to be very inclusive, and we have to be very diverse and full of knowledge about like how would they receive the information, what is their level like based off of communication. We chose WhatsApp, and I spoke to this in the previous panel earlier, that WhatsApp is one of the easiest methods that like can create a communication between two people. Like if you don't read or write, you can just send a voice note. And we got lots of these situations actually. So having it to deal with a specific case requires creating files and having detailed information about clients, such as their immigration documents, level of education, and marital status, and like, you know, and these are things that we cannot like just go ahead and say like, oh, send me your PR card via WhatsApp message. For that, we designed an initial meeting between the client that is willing to enroll in this platform and the case manager to take all the information needed to know like what is the resources that would be available for him, to get a grasp on his case, and like to make sure that we're following up with it right. So as I mentioned, an initial like in-person meeting was suggested, of course, like because if someone is like, you know, he'd rather like just to have the communication, we would have like also like just explained to them why would we need that, and explain the policy and the guidelines in person. Because when it comes to one-on-one communication, they kind of start to know you. So they know who they are talking to. So they kind of get more into their comfort zone, which is fine and okay. It's very like, that's the thing we want. We want them to build trust. We want them to like know that they can talk and ask and stuff. But the thing is, we were like very specific on explaining that like, okay, we are available from 8:30 to 4:30 to follow up with all the questions or the answers, to share all the informations and resources. And also like providing the service of like, we are as an organization and as a case manager are up there for anything that can help and support. And because it was case-based, the guidelines were like so, you know, kind of jumped off, especially when it comes like to serious cases that, you know, they would require like something at, you know, very late night, and the phone would call instead of like having sent a text message and stuff. And these are things that like get dealt with on the long run. So for that, like to make it easier to everyone and to make sure that the guidelines and the policy and everything was understood by every client, we designed a video that was like very visual directed with voice, of course, that was sent to every client along with like a sheet that was directed to them as well, and addressing all the guidelines and what are the protocols that has to be followed when we are communicating. Again, especially because we were like communicating in a specific group, which is Arabic speaking clients. And when, you know, you get into that comfort zone, it wasn't like something that like was not applicable, or it's not like we like, but, you know, you receive lots of those blinky birds or like shining flowers every here and there. And it was very important to make sure that we're focusing on like what their case is, the progress of their case, especially that we dealt with a lot of sensitive cases. So developing the policies and the guidelines, policies, protocols, and guidelines provide a very valuable information to all the participants in the digital case management, and are designed to make sure that all that service is occurring properly to everyone. So for that, like, we have to make sure that to maintain confidentiality and privacy in all communications, including private messaging between the moderator and the participant, which is technically was the situation here. We were just having one-on-one communication. It was also like developing a service standard, for example, note how long, you know, to respond for a question, because you're dealing with one case and you might be working on like 10 cases, 15 cases at the same time. I wouldn't say like they all have like the same problem at the same time, but if there's something that like concerns them, if there's a release by the government, if there's something related to the community, like you would receiving these questions, oh, is that right? How do we do this? How we do that? So it was like very important to follow up on these things and outline the reasons of why a participant would be asked to visit the organization in person. Like, because as I said, sometimes if it was violence related or like, you know, police involvement and stuff, we'd always like would like to discuss these in person. And for that, we would schedule a meeting with them. Like, and if they don't want to come, what we were doing is like having a video call to have this. And that was like based on their comfort zone as well. Because some people would like go, oh, I'd rather come and discuss it in person, and others like would do it digitally as well. So for that, protocols like spell out all the procedures to be followed in specific situations that like falls under each case. And what we were doing actually, if somebody like asked a question that like wasn't related, as I said, like we would receive like, I would give an example, for example, and because we were like dealing on one-on-one when we were doing this project, sadly the New Zealand incident happened, and it was all over the social media and stuff. So I received like at least like 15 of these videos from like participants on my phone, and just because they know, like, you know, they know Mohamad and stuff, and it was very important to highlight to them that these are things that they shouldn't be sharing around. Explain to them why, not only with me but everyone else. These sceneries that are like being like you know, going viral on social media, it's something that like would not come to their best interest, and like it will, like, you know, it's not a good contact to share here and there. So it was very important to make sure that they're following these things. Again, going to the sensitive cases. So case management can go like with a lot of levels of settlement. You know, it's not like a person that is wanting like to do his English assessment or like access like a Calgary housing, for example. Sometimes it goes like into a lot of difficult situations, family problems, youth involvement problems. Like, so it was very tough, and we got through like the pilot at least 3 cases that like were like so involving when it comes like to domestic violence, to youth gang involvement and stuff like this, which was like based on the digital messaging, the communication as initial thing, and was like elevated to different groups within our organization and other partner organizations to deal with this situation. So we were technically the direct resource, where like referring and directing these people the right way. And that created a difficulty because, like, again, you have to be very careful and very paying attention. That's why we were like flagging lots of these cases, who's this person, and like creating files on the side to follow up with the case, of course, after entering them in our own database in the Center for Newcomers. But at the same time, again, it came very handy to these newcomers and refugees where they know, tomorrow I need a lawyer, how to get a lawyer. So that was like, okay, I can ask Mohamad. Mohamad can direct me like the way that it's supposed to be, instead of like calling around and like doing all this tours here and here. And for that, like that required a lot of in-person communication sometimes, or video calls and stuff like this, to make sure that these sensitive information and sensitive cases are being dealt with the proper way. And as I said, this is like a couple cases, not everyone. Boundaries and difficulties that occur like with this platform. So one-on-one case management and via digital messaging requires a lot of attention to detail as well. It's like a memorizing session where you have to wake up every morning and just retrieve your brain and make sure that like, oh, I know, it's very, it would come in like so unlikable if you share, for example, an information related to a single mom that is looking for, free resources and stuff, to a gentleman that is looking for employment. That's why it was like very important to follow up with these boundaries and guidelines and how to do it. So a lot of attention to details, knowing each case separately, constantly identifying needs and making like sure to follow up with the clients, even if they don't send anything, or even like they're very calm this day. I was dedicating at least some of the time during the day to communicate and get a hold of them. And as again, having to correspond with a newcomer via WhatsApp requires like a lot of referral. So like we had to create a lot of lists of referrals like this, and direct people like in the fastest method that we can to have their right information addressed to them. Solutions. So like for these boundaries, when, as I said, like to make sure that like, oh, you are dealing with this case, you don't want to like overlap with things, you don't want to like forget about something that like some client has been calling for a long time, he hasn't reached out to us and stuff. So like I was dedicating like as much as I can a daily follow-up at the end of the day, at least, if not a daily one, like to make sure during the week that I'm doing like some checkups. Again, having the video of the guidelines shared when needed as a reminder. Somebody has mentioned in the question that I was reading, we have to be very, and I mentioned that, very friendly professional. When you are dealing with these cases and like the problems that you have to act really human, then being professional, because it's very like touchy, it's very needy. Sometimes like you'd receive a call of a person like crying over the phone because, and that happened like when a mom lost her son and called, and it really broke my heart myself. So I didn't know what to do at the time. So you have to be very humanitarian, and at the same time, if anybody, like for example, send you a video, a joke that is like somehow like not related or inappropriate, instead of like saying, oh, this is not professional, you shouldn't be doing 1, 2, 3, like I just like send a video reminder for him and deleted it and advised him in a good way. You have to stay nice and keep the situation. So again, I was like mostly like doing a weekly meeting, a lot of workshops with these clients, inviting police services, inviting like social workers, seeing the needs of these clients that like are in interest for all of them, and having it addressed in a workshop. We have like gatherings, like sometimes like, just a gathering and like a chit chat here and there, pre-COVID, of course. And what is doing is like, again, staying digitally active. So when I see a client is not like engaging very well, I was always trying to like cheer them up, talk to them, try to like, engage them in a way here and there. And again, the most important thing is that to build a lot of trust, because this person who's communicating with you digitally and trusting you, especially I find that after COVID is like lots of people will communicate with me and they don't know who I am. So that was like a very, very important to build the trust and to collect this. The whole digital messaging case management via digital messaging was a huge success. People were very engaged, and it grew up and it became another project, and then it's very engaging right now. And as we spoke earlier, I think Refugee 613 were time travelers, and they expected like this pandemic by having all these digital messaging like pilots, and brought it in very handy. Like at this time, like sadly, I wish like everything was still happening in person, but look at us right now, meeting from all over Canada just to discuss such things. So it is a very important way to go going forward. Hopefully soon we'll have to finish from all this, but it is the situation that we have right now. So that's it. I want to wish all of you safety, health, and a pleasant rest of the day. And thank you.
So we still have around like 10 minutes, so we can have some questions from audience.
Lama, there's a question here for me. Did you witness a case of domestic violence while interacting with person group? And yeah, definitely we did. More than one. And what I did is, as a manager for this case itself, I was trying to be as much as involved that I can, like by checking via phone and stuff, and direct the case in a super confidential manner to the right resources. It was a mom, so I had to make sure that like I connected her with the Women's Center here in Calgary, for example, with all the organization that deals with this. Connected her with a lawyer, and helped her like accessing the court system and all these things to make sure that like she went the right route. So it was like a daily follow-up on what the process is, and it was something that we needed to follow up on our end as well, to know that this case is reaching a right path and go in the right path and is reaching the right outcome.
I also had the same case. It's not the same, but I mean, I had some domestic violence case with the WhatsApp, with a group. So the member contacted me directly, and what I did, I referred her to the service that they needed here in Ottawa, and then the consultant was able to solve her problem and to take the right actions regarding this situation.
As a case management, Lama, like it was a little bit difficult that we had to act somehow as a consultant, like ourselves, like not in the professional matter. I wasn't like, we weren't acting as the one-man show as a digital manager, but like we had to be involved somehow by directing them and knowing the case in general. So we were like literally directing them to the right resources.
For your pilot is a bit different than us, because your organization is a settlement organization, but for us, we are not a settlement organization. We do support other partners like from the settlement sector. So we cannot provide this service to the clients or to the members, but what we do is to refer them to the services that they are looking for.
There is someone is asking about like a consent sign. I'm so sorry. I don't know how I missed that through the presentation, but of course, like that was an initial thing that we had to do, is like to have a consent addressed to the client and having them consent for like the communication digitally. So yeah, it was a thing.
From Amal, are the posts language specific? So if you are asking me, because our WhatsApp or Telegram group is Arabic, so all the posts were in Arabic. Even if we have like an event shared by our partners in English, we do translate that and post it in Arabic, so members can understand what was shared. What if the participants of the WhatsApp group or Telegram incapable of reading? So in this case, they would send us a private message with their questions, and we answer them by also a voice note. So they send us a private message using the voice note, and we answer them in a voice note. And if the situation was like a bit complicated, I could book a meeting with them where we can discuss further. I have known of cases where a lot of other service providers are asking for SIN in first call in itself. While I understand importance of asking SIN, is that an ethical practice?
As I said, when it was like, this is like, ethics is different from like an organization to another, but like we always encourage like any newcomer not to share like such information over the phone unless like they are super aware of who they are dealing with. That's why I mentioned in the presentation that when it comes to any immigration related documents or proper sensitive information, to have an initial in-person meeting. So as an advice, like with all like this spam and scam that goes here, it is not desirable to share any such information, especially social insurance numbers and stuff, mostly with all the scam like calls that gets around. So I would say not to share, but when it comes to the case management, as our practice, we would never receive such information via phone. We always ask like for person that we need this information to come in person. And most likely when it was related to immigration, it's barely requiring the social insurance number, like for minor things, unless it's employment related.
In case there is time, I assume that if the clients that you interact with are youth, assuming that their parents, guardians have providing consent, you would use a casual tone, right? Have you ever witnessed bullying amongst users in a digital community? If so, how did you approach this situation? I did witness such case where somebody posted questions and another person said that, okay, this is like a silly question, and then they start like a small conflict between them. So in this situation, what I usually do, I go in the group. First of all, ask both parties not to share any more conversation between them, and I go to the private messages and start chatting with each one of them separately, just to try to make them understand why this question was posted, for example, or why this comment was posted as well. Sometimes the different cultural background put people or put members in that situation. Sometimes the tone of the post that a person post on the group would give that that this member is attacking me or whatever. And it happened couple of times. And after like chatting with each one of them in like separately, things would calm down, and I go back to the group and explain what happened and what is the misunderstanding, and show the group that the situation is settled and everything was settled. Sometimes the member might be not very happy with what happened. Like you cannot please everyone in the group. Like when with a group with more than 500 members, sometimes you cannot please everyone. So in this case, if the member is not happy, I would ask him, for example, to tell me why this solution didn't work with them, why they are not happy, if there is anything that we can do just to make things better. Sometimes they would say, no, I'm not happy with this group or with the service, and I'm leaving the group. They might leave the group, they might come back, they might not come back. But most important is having the guidelines always is like a protect, like give you like give the community measure protection, that they are not reacting on a personal matter. They are presenting the organization and reacting accordingly with the guidelines. Did you ever have to remove a member from the group? Yes. If the member is posting, for example, political posts and religious posts are not agreed with the guidelines. So if somebody is posting political posts and one time it happened, and they posted this political post, and then they started a conversation. So you are against us, and you're like, it's not the situation. It's not like that. This group is a service group. It's not a social group. So I post the guideline. I asked them to remove the post, and if not, I had to remove the member from the group. Thank you.
Thank you all. Thanks, Lama. Thanks, Barbara, and thanks everyone.